All right, what's up guys? In this video, we're gonna talk about belief and time and stall. Now, I'm putting these together because they're very similar, and a lot of times people could move from this to this. They can also do it in price or spouse. And a lot of times what you'll see people do is whatever objection they have, if you beat it, so let's say it's a price objection, you beat it, they'll go, yeah, but I still don't know. That's belief. Or let's say it's a spouse objection, they go, yeah, but I still don't know. That's belief. So keep that in mind that a lot of times, once you beat the initial objection, if they still won't buy, it's a belief issue. Okay, so let's go through belief first. So let's say I go through and I'm like, so George, the price of the program is $5,000. And he's like, yeah, you know, dude, I just don't know. I don't know. The first thing I like to say is I go, well, George, like, let's just work through it. Obviously you're scared. So what's the worst thing you can possibly imagine happening? And typically they'll say, well, it won't work. I'm like, great. So yeah, let's actually walk through that. Let's say it doesn't work. So there's three things that can happen. Number one is you get the result and you're happy. So you pay us, we make money, you get the result, everybody wins. That's what we're hoping for. Number two is you do it and you don't get a result, you get a refund. Now, keep in mind, if your program doesn't have a refund, then you might cut this part out. You wouldn't say it, right? So you might just cut this part out. Some people don't want to do that, so they'll just say you get the result or you do nothing, okay? But if you have a refund clause or a performance guarantee is the only types of guarantees I usually recommend. So meaning, if they do XYZ things, they're eligible for a refund. And the guarantee should be around things that you know that if they do, there's no way they would get a refund. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So number two is I go, you do it and it doesn't work and you just get a refund, right? Or number three, you do nothing and you stay stuck. So out of all three of those reasons, only one ensures that you don't move forward. Because if you do it and you get the result, you'll be happy. And if you do it and you don't get the result, you still would have learned something and you spent no money on it. So based on that, all you have to do is take that initial step forward. You have no risk. Does that sound fair enough? Something of that nature. Belief is very easy because if you frame it this way, there's no risk for them, which is the whole point. The reason they're scared is because there's risk, so you just take the risk away. Okay, so that's the best way to beat belief. Now, let's say someone goes, you know, I just need to think about it. That's the worst objection. It's very flaky. So sometimes what you'll hear people say is, well, what do you need to think about? And a lot of times when you do that, they'll immediately switch, go, well, it's the price. Well, it's my spouse. Well, it's whatever. What I like to do is I'll say, well, John, let me ask you this. Do you know what deciding means? He's like, no. You go, well, in Latin, it means to cut off, right? So which of your futures are we going to cut off today? Are we going to cut off the future of your dreams or your passive inaction? Because either way, not making a decision is still a decision. Now, what I've usually found is if you know these three things, these three key things, if you're cool to work through it with me, you actually will know what to do. Are you cool if I walk you through that? Yeah, cool. So the first one is, do you think you're more or less likely to hit your goal working with us? They're usually like, well, more likely. It's like, okay. Do you trust us? Do you actually believe we're going to give you what was promised, or do you think we're full of I trust you. It's like, okay. And number four is, do you have finances available, or do you know someone who does? So they're like, yeah, I do. You're like, okay, great. So based on that, you actually have all the information you need to move forward because there's not going to be anything else you see or hear outside this call that I didn't cover with you today. So based on that, do you feel comfortable to move forward? And then a lot of times if they say, oh, well, you know, I know Tanner, but I still don't, then it's just, again, it's a belief issue. And then you just move right back to belief. So these are actually, I would say this is the least common. If you had to pick an order, it's going to be price, belief, spouse, and then time or stall is the least used one. So if you really focus on belief and price, you're going to beat a whole lot of objections because anytime someone still says, I'm not sure, which is a lot of people who are scared, it's a belief issue, right? These work intertwined a lot because usually when they say time or stall, it moves to believe very quickly because the reason they're saying that is they don't believe it's going to work, right? Or they're scared. So that's all in this video, guys. Practice those four objections like your life depends on it. It's going to come up a ton. And if you work these frameworks, if you do it with enough reps, it's going to become extremely easy. And when people get to the end of the call, it's not going to be a big deal because it's the same process every single time. When I did door-to-door sales, there were so many objections. And the cool thing about this is there's so few objections. So hopefully that helps, guys. Again, if you ever have questions, go in the group, use the portal, use the trainings, ask your coach, come to the live sales trainings. We do 2 or 3 a week. It's extremely important, okay? Appreciate you guys so much. Hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.